So I got nothing to work on. But no, are you going to let God in? But then again, we would be hard-pressed to find a relationship in the Bible that reminds us of 21st century relationships in Western civilization. The text that we read in the marriage and the couples we read are not like the relationships of today. In that sense, all biblical relationships are myth if we attempt to embrace them verbatim. I'm going to pick on air for a minute. In biblical days, the wife is property. Now, I pay to see Ed tell Crystal, you're my property. Now, and then I also love that Ed came back and said, well, that's what the Bible says. Yeah, okay. See, my point is, no relationships reflect biblical things. If we see this passage as a miracle, an act of God, what then? Does it help us understand the text any better? The myth aids the non-believer in understanding the text. It is safe to also conclude that seeing this passage as a miracle would conversely ease the mind of believers. When you get a glimpse in the text that Peter, if nothing else, sees this event as a miracle, he does what so many of us do when something is beyond our control or comprehension. Peter offers the most inadequate way of explaining it to gain some measure of control. When things happen beyond our control, we try to explain it so that we can get control. It's just like those of you who watched the Super Bowl last week. How many pundits tried to explain either why the Ravens won or why the 49ers lost? Fact is, unless you're playing, you really don't know. And just as an aside, during the blackout, the announcers didn't have anything else to talk about. And the 49ers were down, 28-6 at the time during the blackout. And so somebody said, well, they didn't take Kaepernick out and put Alex Smith in. You know what to say? But then again, he didn't know what to say. He was trying to control it, and it showed just how little he knew what he was talking about. And look how Kaepernick played after that. But my point is, he was trying to get control over something that he didn't understand. And we all do it. Whether one sees this text a myth or miracle, there are similar behaviors at work. Look at verse 33. Just as they were leaving Jesus, Peter said to Jesus, Master, it is good for us to be here. Let us make 3 dwellings, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. Not really understanding what he said. Peter had already determined the transfiguration was the exaltation of Jesus. Why else would he be seen with Elijah and Moses? In other words, Peter's trying to figure it out so he can control it. Peter reminds us how clumsy we can be in our attempts to explain that which is not only unexplainable, but warrants no explanation. Sometimes faith is. Sometimes you can't explain to people why you pray. Sometimes you can't explain why you believe the way you do. I don't care how long you come to church. I don't care how many years you've gone to church. Some things you just can't explain. Faith is. Moreover, why is it good, as Peter states in the text, for the 4 to be there? Is he suggesting that he and the others were the chosen ones? The risk we run with seeing the transfiguration solely as a miracle, it is to make it something that's about Jesus beyond our control, that we helplessly try to find some definition that we can control. The other problem is the exaltation of Jesus seductive becomes the exaltation of Peter. I'm in this exclusive club. It's good for us to be here. I got this hookup. Embedded in Peter's words is a seductive aspect of the human condition that it's always easier to embrace the past than to deal with the present. There were folk down that hill. We keep reading this text. Folk down that hill who were hungry. Peter wants to build some booths for folk in the past. Always easy to deal with the past. How many times you hear people talk about the good old days? Nobody was saying, anybody right now talking about the good old days, nobody was calling the good old days when they were living in those days. My granddad, we used to walk through the snow with no shoes. I guarantee you, my grandfather wished he had some shoes when he was doing that. See, it's easier to build a monument to Martin Luther King than to address the violence that surrounds us in our neighborhoods today. It is easier to build a monument to Thomas Jefferson than to authentically commit ourselves to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Easier to celebrate the courage of the greatest generation after 68 years after World War II ended than it is to support the men and women who returned from Afghanistan and Iraq with multiple tours of duty. The ease to embrace the past than to deal with the present may be exemplified by Peter himself, as you know, who would later, after Jesus was arrested, denied having any association with the brother. No, wasn't me. We must therefore examine Peter's words, not through the lens of arrogance supported by more than 2,000 years of hindsight, but through the humility of knowing there is a little Peter in all of us. The miracle of Transfiguration conveniently places Peter in select company, but it misses the point as to whom the Transfiguration is meant for. What good does the Transfiguration serve if it's not connected to Jesus' movement that is ultimately connected to the least of these? Even if we subscribe to the notion that the Transfiguration is indeed a miracle that occurred exactly the way Luke articulated it in this 9th chapter, it goes against the teachings of Jesus to engage in a miracle for miracle's sake. So if you say it's a miracle, you say it's a myth, you say it's a miracle, Jesus never did a miracle for miracle's sake. He just said, look, I turned water into wine. He never did that. Always a reason. But none of this resolves the question if the Transfiguration is myth, miracle, or metaphor. Assuming that we're able to prove beyond any doubt that this morning's passage represents a miracle, it's of no value if we're unwilling to make it a metaphor for our lives. How one sees the text has more to do with where they are in their faith journey. The accuracy of the Transfiguration in the text matters little if there is no transfiguration of the heart for followers of Jesus' movement. We can talk about the Transfiguration all day long, but if we are not ready, possess the courage to be transfigured ourselves, this is irrelevant. Reports of violence, absurdity, political timidity, apathy are just routine. We hear about it all the time. It is a world, we live in a world right now where a baby sleeping in the crib, not immune to gun violence, children living in a sleepy town in Connecticut, not immune to gun violence, young lady who performed for the president on her way to France, not immune to gun violence, fragile state of the economy, declining opportunity for those starting out. There's a systematic gap that's growing between those that have and those who have not. It makes the future look dismal for far too And it's a gap that's not defined by so-called welfare queens that my Republican brothers want to make up. The gap is reflected. You got college-educated, college-degree people working $10 an hour at Starbucks. You got seniors who can't move so that SSI check comes in the mail. Each and every day we are provided reasons, more reasons to give up than we are to make it a better world. How can we have any expectations of transfiguration out there if there is no lived commitment to transfiguration in here? How can the city be healed if God's disciples are not the ones in the radiant glow of Jesus offering transfiguration to those in need of transformation? Hardened hearts do not become merciful ones without first somehow being injected with God's love. If transfiguration is indeed to be a miracle today, it must begin with God's people through whom God speaks. These are my disciples, my chosen. Listen to them. And we are not going to be the lived examples that folk listen to us, not with our mouths. Listen to them through their actions, through their commitment to engage in inconvenient love. If not, then the transfiguration would indeed be nothing more than a myth whose relevance has long since passed. But I believe there is a metaphor in this text that we can embrace that allows us to have our own transfiguration moment. There could be no transfiguration of Christ that does not include the transfiguration of his followers, that is also not contagious to others. That means Jesus transfigured, we can transfigure, and that can be contagious to those who are walking the streets right now who don't even know his name. Ours is a faith that demands that we come to terms with the limits of our power to realize the power of God that offers the possibility to not only change us, but also the power to be change agents in a world desperately searching for us to magnetize moral compass. Let us therefore view this mythical, miraculous text as a metaphor for all of us. Let the transfiguration begin that takes us into Ash Wednesday through the 40 days of the Lenten season to a hill called Calvary so that we can experience the joy of resurrection. Jesus repeats that he is traveling to Jerusalem toward his cross. This moment of transfiguration affirms that this faith journey that each of us embarks requires that we invest in the next stage of the journey. We are called to move on to the challenges before us. For Jesus, it was the cross that needed to be risked that he might find new life. And we must all ask, what is it for us? What do we have to risk in order to find that new life? What do we finally need to do or finally need to face in order to experience the joy of resurrection? What habit has been holding us back that we finally need to put down? What repetitive behavior needs to be healed and changed? What challenge have we avoided